Dale Marsh. It's so good to have back. Dale, we just hadn't seen you in a while. God bless you, man.
Thank you, Randy. It's been too long.
So y'all welcome Dale Marsh back.
Thanks.
If I were an angel, I would love you the same. Though you'd never see me, never know my name, I would watch over you through all of your days, and never consider my one-sided love to be love in vain. Some love is written on water, but my love is written in stone. You are my angel of flesh and bone. If I were an angel, I would cradle you in sorrow, stand by your bed over your sleeping head till your every tomorrow. I would whisper I love you, you'd hear my words in your dreams, but you'd never know that the lover you heard say loved you was me. Some love is written on water, but my love is written in stone. You are my angel of flesh and bone. If I were an angel, I would see you alone. I'd see you with lovers, you'd have no secrets I wouldn't own. In your fear and your pain, your most intimate shame, if I were an angel, I would love you all the same. Some love is written on water, but my love is written in stone. You are my angel of flesh and bone. Some love is written on water, but my love is written in stone. You are my angel of flesh and bone.
Thank you. That's a Brent Mitchell song. That's a singer-songwriter from Denton. He lives in Wisconsin now. I'm planning on putting that one and another one of his songs on my next project. I'll play it later. It's called December, Texas. Really well. Pretty song. Well, this is one of my songs. Sort of seems appropriate since it has been 4 years since I've been here. That's a long time. But you know, it's just time. So, the thing we all have way too little of.
Same old trash in a trash can, same dishes in the sink. The place is like I left it when I left it late last week. The laundry lies unfolded in a pile up on the bed. The mail still in the mailbox, unopened and unread. But life goes on and the clocks keep ticking. April brings her showers, graduations in the spring, and all our hopes and fears rely on what the future brings. Summer shows up right on time with fireworks in the dark. Lovers walking hand in hand down the boulevard. Oh, but life goes on and the clocks keep ticking. Ain't no use in trying to save it, 'cause in the end we leave it all behind. You could spend your life just looking for the answers, and all along they're right before your eyes. My, oh my, life goes on, life goes on. Life goes on, and the clocks keep on ticking. Ticking, the clocks keep ticking. Hey. Thanks. Thanks. I ran into an old friend I knew. I could see right through her smile. She said her heart had been cut and bruised, couldn't find anything worthwhile. She'd met someone and the earth hadn't moved. It never felt like that before. But when he lied, it all came unglued. Isn't love everlasting anymore? She holds regret like it might break, as if it's some old debt to pay. It's time to fold or raise the bet. You see, the choice is hers to make. Shake the past and let it go if it gets in the way. Find your voice and let it out, 'cause you might be surprised at what you have to say. So we talked until the night gave up to the light of a brand new day. She promised me she would stay in touch as I watched her drive away. So here's a toast to all that lies ahead, to that leap into the blue. Forget your fear, trust your faith instead. It's the light come shining through. She holds regret like it might break, as if it's some old debt to pay. Well, it's time to fold or raise the bet. You see, the choice is ours to make. Shake the past and let it go if it gets in the way. Find your voice and let it out, 'cause you might be surprised at what you have to say. but you might be surprised at what you have to say. I ran into an old friend I knew. Thanks, y'all. Thank you so much.
We've missed you.
Oh, thanks. I've missed y'all. It's just so nice to be back. Sounds great in here, Randy. The room sounds great. Not that it's ever sounded bad, but it sounds really, really nice.
We're about to get it down. It's good to have Lorna back.
So that was sort of a sappy old love song, so let's sort of do the B-side of, if there was still a B-side, you had the 45, the A-side and the B-side. This would be the B-side of that song.
I made paper boats out of your love letters, let them float down the Brazos River. They caught that current and they sailed away. I was standing there watching, crying and thinking, as one by one they started sinking. I just had to laugh out loud at me. 'Cause falling in love, it's like building a boat. You follow the plans and you hope the whole thing floats, and it's all smooth sailing when it all begins. But there might be stormy weather before we reach the end. I'd kept a shoebox full of those cards and letters, couldn't let go like I didn't know better. I guess I was trying to hang on to the past. Well, I'd take 'em out and read 'em, but I'd feel rotten. I couldn't believe how I'd been forgotten so soon. Me! Oh. Well, falling in love, it's like building a boat. You follow the plans and you hope the whole thing floats, and it's all smooth sailing when it all begins. But there might be stormy weather before we reach the end. So I made some paper airplanes, then I made some paper hats. Decided origami just wasn't where it's at. 'Cause when it comes down to it, it's just paper and ink. It's not like what you're holding is some kind of cosmic link. Well, falling in love, it's like building a boat. You follow the plans and you hope the whole thing floats, and it's all smooth sailing when it all begins. But there might be heavy weather before we reach the end. We've got to ride out those storms like we know that they won't last. Stop living our tomorrows as if they were our past. Keep an eye on that weather and be ready for a little rain. And if love gives you a paper boat, keep smiling just the same. You gotta keep on smiling. It makes people wonder what you have been up to just the same. I made paper boats out of your love letters, let them float down the Brazos River. They caught that current and it was anchors away.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dale.
Yes,
Do you Yahoo?
I do. I'm going to play that song in just a moment. Somebody said something about Yahoo a minute ago. I said, you need to remember that because that line is going to come up in a song here very shortly. Well, I want to play a song. It's not my song. It's a Guy Clark song, and I want to play this song and dedicate it to Harold. It's just my father-in-law, Lorna's dad, is 97 years old, and her mother is 96. They've been married 75, almost 76 years.
Wow.
And I want to dedicate it To them and Harold, this song is just one of the best, coolest songs for folks that inspire us all like that. I think Guy Clark hit a lot of home runs in the songs he's written, but I think he really hit a home run when he wrote this one. He's 8 years old with a flour sack cape tied on around his neck. Climbing up on the garage, he's figuring what the heck. Licked his finger and checked the wind, it's gonna be do or die. He wasn't scared of nothing, y'all, and he's pretty sure he can fly. 'Cause he's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. Now he's all grown up with a flour sack cape tied on around his dreams, full of piss and vinegar and busting at the seams. He licks his finger and checks the wind, it's gonna be do or die. He wasn't scared of nothing, he's pretty sure he can fly. 'Cause he's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. Now he's old and gray with a flour sack cape tied on around his head. He's still jumping off the garage and will be till he's dead. All these years the people said he's acting like a kid. He did not know he could not fly, so he did. 'Cause he's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. He's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. To Mr. Harold. Somebody sent me an email the other day about this couple that was at a couple seminar at church, and the preacher was talking about all the things that you should know and about one another after you'd been married for a long time, and just how there were just intimate things that each should know about the other. How those were some of the things that made the bonds stronger and kept relationships together. And the preacher said, I bet right now your husband could probably tell your wife what her favorite flower is. And this guy reaches over and taps his wife on the leg and goes, "Isn't that Gold Bond all-purpose?" Whack! So here's how he wound up. I've been at my computer screen so long, I'd almost lost my sight. I hadn't stopped to eat or sleep, but I surfed on through the night. Now they say you'll know when love is true, it's a feeling you'll have inside. So when that girl asked to chat with me, my feelings I couldn't hide. So I typed to her, "Do you Yahoo? Do you have ICQ? Won't you meet me in the cyberspace in a chat room for two?"
we could interconnect so well. You're a little gateway in my big dell, and I'll respect you next time we meet. So honey, please don't hit file delete. Do you Yahoo? Do you have ICQ? Won't you meet me in cyberspace in a chat room for two? Well, if we had a dance floor, this is when you dance. We're a little short on space. Well, I knew that girl was meant for me. I knew it from the first keystroke. When she said she looked like Demi Moore, I thought I was gonna choke. So I asked her to send me a picture. She said she'd get me one as soon as she can. So I typed back, I look just like Rick Springfield. She said I must be her man. So I asked her one more time. Had to make sure. Do you Yahoo? Do you have Facebook too? Won't you meet me in cyberspace in a chat room for two? We could interconnect, you know. You're a little gateway in my MacBook Pro, and I'll respect you next time we meet. So honey, please don't hit file delete. Do you Yahoo? Do you have ICQ? Won't you meet me in cyberspace in a chat room for two? We could meet up in cyberspace in a chat room for two. Just me and you. Thanks. Thanks.
Updated it a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know, it was sort of dated. I wrote that song after that Yahoo commercial used to be out so long ago, whenever it was. That must have been 15 years ago or longer. And somebody said, you should sell that to Yahoo. And I thought if I ever presented it to them, they would probably sue me for copyright infringement. So I didn't go there. I want to play one that Randy always requests me to play. And I don't play this song nearly often enough. But I played it the other night just to make sure I could still remember the words. And hopefully I can. So it's really bad when you can't remember the words to your own songs. Bob and I were talking a little earlier about how songs just, you just have to allow them the space to come. Because sometimes with our crowded and busy schedules, for me, and Bob and I were talking about this, it's just hard to write songs when you know you got a deadline, or you got to mow the grass, or you got to go to work the next morning, whatever. But when you're just free of that, songs just come. And my daughter was going to school at Texas A&M at the time, and a friend of mine, or a friend of ours, Lorna and I, was going to get married, and she wanted me to play a waltz at her wedding. So I was trying to write a waltz, and I thought I had written a waltz. After I played it, I was informed it was not a waltz. But it turned out to be a pretty cool song, and I was just coming through small town Texas, these little, one flashing light towns, and all the old dilapidated ghost buildings, and because there's a lot of that between College Station and here if you take the back roads. It's just, I started writing this as I was driving, and before I got home I had it. It's a white linen tablecloth from a dime store, a weathered old hat on a nail by the door, linoleum worn thin at a small town cafe, homemade ice cream after church on Sunday. It's a newborn baby in the arms of its mother. It's people in need helping out one another. The strength and the courage in the dawn's early light. It's rising above when there's no hope in sight. This is America, the home of the brave and free. We can follow our dreams wherever they lead. This is America. It's running for office in your local election. The privilege to vote, make the selection. It's going to worship wherever you want to, or not going at all, if that's what you choose. This is America, the home of the brave and free. We can follow our dreams wherever they lead. This is America. Hey, this is America. We're the farmers and ranchers out in the fields. We're the movers and shakers making the deals. We're teachers and students and truck drivers too. We're the cops and firefighters, red, white, and blue. This is America, the home of the brave and free. We can follow our dreams wherever they lead. This is America. Hey, for beautiful and spacious sky, for amber waves of rain. Thank you. Thank you. That was actually the Reader's Digest version of that song. I left a couple of verses out. You know, the Reader's Digest version, that's always cool. Bob and I were talking about Chris Gage. Bob's recording his new record with Chris Gage. And Chris Gage, once I opened for him, and he played the Reader's Digest version of that old Marty Robbins song, you know, The Streets of El Paso. Da, 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 da. It's like 21 minutes long. And it's really a long song. It's a good song, but he goes, I'm going to play the Reader's Digest version. And he goes, out in the streets of West Texas, I met a girl, I got shot, and I died. And that was it. That was this. That was a whole song, right? And it pretty much sums it up. You know, it's the Cliff Notes version of that song. So. Anybody heard of Shel Silverstein? Love Shel Silverstein. I bought my daughter, who is now grown, a book called Where the Sidewalk Ends when she was about 8 years old. Just loved those poems, and he was a big songwriter. He wrote songs for a lot of country artists. Yeah, he's written a bunch of songs. But I always like to introduce this song with one of his poems. How many slams in an old screen door? Depends how hard you shut it. How many slices in a bread? Depends how thin you cut it. How much good inside a day? Depends how good you live 'em. How much love inside a friend? Depends how much you give 'em. Look at you, shining like silver, so pure, so fine. Now you've got me on the line. There's something about you. From the start, you're the only one that my heart beats for. There's nothing else I want more. There's something about you. Oh, the hour hand spins around with circumstance. If you fool around long enough, you're gonna miss your chance. I've loved you every minute since the day that we met. You've got something I can't forget. There's something about you. But I took too long holding out and hoping for change. I guess I got myself in such a mess. what am I gonna do? I don't know why love has to be so hard, or how it all comes undone sometimes, like a whisper on a house of cards. Do 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 do. There's something about you. Do 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 do. Something about you. I'm gonna be alright, but it could take a month or two. Just as soon as I can learn to stop thinking, or maybe move to Timbuktu. There's something about you. There's something about you. Something about you. There's something about you. There's something about you. Something about you.
Thanks. Something about you. Thank you. So out west of Fort Worth, if anybody has driven west, anybody driven west, like out towards the dump, out towards Weatherford, out 20. So you've seen all the construction going on out there where they're building a new bridge that's fixing to go over across 20. And there's a big ranch out there, all that rolling hills, grassland on both sides of 20. It was the Walsh Ranch. It was 8,200 acres. And it's all fixing to be carved up into golf courses and shopping malls and parking lots and 5 gated communities. And it's sad, but that's just progress. That's just the way it is. But when I grew up, my grandparents lived in Abilene, and we would take trips to Abilene at least once a month, and we would go out that way. And whenever we came back, that was always sort of my landmark as a kid to know I was getting close to home, was that rolling hills prairie, because it had never been plowed. There were always cattle on it, but trees just didn't grow there. There's been studies done on that land. It's called the Fort Worth Prairie Grasslands, and it just for some reason trees didn't grow there. Anyway, it was just always my landmark, and it's just kind of sad to know that that's going to be all turned into houses and streets and stuff. So I wrote the song sort of about that when I read that the Walsh Ranch was being sold off.
They knocked over all the trees with big bulldozers, pushed them up into piles to watch them burn. Scraped off all the topsoil, left it flatter than a tabletop. Started planting houses, looks like a bumper crop. They plowed under everything left worth saving. Came along and hammered in wooden stakes with little orange flags. Now there's blacktop on the prairie where the deer and the antelope stood, for another super Walmart and a gated neighborhood. But old Johnny Appleseed had it all figured out. You live a simple life till your time runs out. Try to make this world a better place. But Johnny, there's no room for apple trees anyway. These days, there's no room for apple trees anyway. were people living here before Columbus. They'd been here 1,000 years when he arrived. Took only what they needed from the bounty of the fruited plain, till they met the pale-skinned stranger. It's never been the same. 'Cause big promises were made and forsaken by the ones whose vision had been blinded by their greed. But when they slaughtered all the buffalo, that was a final straw. See, some folks are never happy till they have it all. But old Johnny Appleseed had it all figured out. You live a simple life till your time runs out. Try to make this world a better place. But Johnny, there's no room for apple trees anyway. These days, there's no room for apple trees anyway. These days, there's no room for apple trees anyway. Thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, Bob's got a song called Is It Ever Gonna Rain that is really, really a cool song. I hope you play that song, Bob. That is a great song. This is another song about rain and West Texas and growing up and nostalgia and granddads and all that stuff. My granddad was a tractor salesman in Abilene, and I spent all my summers there. My parents both worked, so they shipped me to Abilene for the summer, and I got to run around with him on all those dirt roads and, you know, visiting the farmers and the ranchers. And he was a great guy and a good salesman and just a good guy. He helped a lot of people out. When they couldn't make the payments, he would refinance it and, you know, keep them from losing their stuff. And so anyway, he was a big influence in my life, and just really fond memories of running around Abilene when it was a one-horse town and a 51 Studebaker with my granddad on those dirt roads. So. And when it rains out there, in the summertime, it's hotter than blue blazes. And when it does finally rain, you can see these big white thunderheads build up usually in the west, and you can see it coming from, you know, miles and hours, and sometimes, and then you can start smelling it. You know, before it ever gets there, you can kind of, you know, that smell. It's just such a cool smell. Well, the first smell of rain across that summer grass takes me back to my youth, to a page out of my past. I think about my granddad, how he taught me about the land. Oh, how I loved that man. He'd say there's red ant mounds and rock hard ground and old tractors gone to rust, prickly pears and double dares and lightning bugs at dusk. But nothing ever stays the same, just our memories, 'cause everything gets washed away like tracks after the rain. There's an old abandoned farmhouse in the hills just west of town, with its windmill aero motors missing blades and falling down. And the fences all need mending, and the wells, they've all gone dry. The city inches closer with each day that passes by. The sun sinks low into the western sky. You take a deep, cool breath let it slip out as a sigh. Oh, there's so many things that remind me of those days, like old King Cole and swimming holes and 10-cent matinees, and driving down that rutted lane to the road that went to town. Where has it all gone now? And I'd like to go back somehow to the red ant mounds and rock hard ground and old tractors gone to rust, prickly pears and double dares and lightning bugs at dusk. But nothing ever stays the same, just our memories, 'cause everything gets washed away like tracks after the rain. Nothing stays the same. Old tire swings hung from a tree with rope, washing up with ivory soap, playing in the rain, soaked to the bone. Oh, please, can I keep him? He just followed me home. Thank you. Thanks. That's on my CD. I have a CD out there if anyone is interested. That song's on it, and a couple of the Yahoo song is on there. I just have the one. Chris Gage hopefully is going to produce another one of these days for me. So let's play something a little snappier. How about that? A little livelier. So I was reading the Dear Abby column one Sunday morning. Morning and I love to read the Sunday paper and look at all the sale ads and all that stuff. You know, that's our ritual. We get up and make a pot of coffee and read. We used to read the paper. Actually, we quit taking the paper because it was like $260 a year. And now we get up in the mornings going, what do we do? So one Sunday morning, I was reading Dear Abby. This is sounding a whole lot like the setup for a John Prine song. But, because, you know, he wrote the song Dear Abby after reading Dear Abby. He was in Greece and he was reading Dear Abby. But I truly was reading Dear Abby one Sunday morning. And there was this guy and I don't normally read Dear Abby, and this guy had written in and he was saying that he thought that marriage and relationships were kind of like a number 2 wooden pencil. You know, like old-timey pencils, like, you know, not mechanical pencil. And he said, you know, after you use that pencil for a while, it just gets dull and you have to sharpen it. And he said that's his take on relationships. You just have to, they get dull and you just have to sharpen it. And I went, man, that guy's on to something there. So I got my little notepad out and went to writing. So here's what I got. Being married's like a pencil, it can get a little dull. Sometimes you've got to sharpen it when it gets in a lull. It takes a little patience, it takes a lot of trust. You start out with a romance and you end up with a love. You see, it's love that lights the fire, love that fans the flame. Love can give your heart its wings or bind it up in chains. But the bills and the deadlines and responsibility can wear you down so thin you decide you need to leave. You think you'll start all over, find another for your needs. When the sun comes up, it burns a hole right through those schemes, because it's love that lights the fire, love that fans the flame. Love can give your heart its wings or bind it up in chains. It can be so easy, love can be so tough. When it's new, you just can't get enough. When you hit a crossroad and you think you've lost your way, you can bet your heart still knows the way. So you stop and think it over, and you come to realize those were promises you made back then and not some compromise. And though it all seems different, did it ever just occur? Well, maybe all you really needed was a little sharpener. Because it's love that lights the fire, love that fans the flame. Love can give your heart its wings or bind it up in chains. That's love. That's love, yeah. That's love. That's just the way it is. Or as my father-in-law likes to say, that's just the way it is when it's like that. We were on a motorcycle trip to Memphis one time about 3 years ago. Me and three of my buddies decided to go to Nashville, actually, in August. It was the hottest summer on record. I don't know what got into us, but we rode motorcycles to Nashville and back. It was literally 120 degrees on the bank clock, and that's what the news, they said it was like melting pavement, and we're out there just... But we stopped in Memphis, and we were looking around, and there was a pillar that was all graffitied up, and somebody had written on there with a mark slot, eventually, all things will happen. And I went, boy, that guy was smart. That's some words of wisdom right there.
So you wrote a song about it?
No, I should have. I took a picture of it, but I have no songs yet. But I guess maybe that could be a segue to this next song, maybe. I don't know.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, well, that's right, whether you like it or not. And I want to thank everybody for coming, too, by the way. It's just so nice to be here and so great that you guys are here. And I think that most everyone in this room can relate to this next song because it's about the days before cell phones, when we had phones that were connected to the wall with a cord, or there were no microwaves, or the remote control was, your feet. You had to get up and press the buttons, and what else? Curb feelers, and black and white TVs, and tail fins on cars, and stuff like that. I wrote this song for my dad. He was a professional photographer and a really good one, and I was trying to show him how to do cut and paste on a computer, or how to even use a computer, but he was so old school that he actually cut and pasted, like, with glue. And I was telling him, how much easier it would be to do on a computer. Just, he never would grasp it, so I wrote this song for him a long time ago. But that wouldn't have surprised me. I'm an analog guy living in the digital age. I write letters with a pencil, and when I read the paper, I like to turn a printed page. Well, don't get me wrong, computers are fine. One day I might give them a try. It's the digital age, but I'm still an analog guy. I do my cooking on gas, I don't need a microwave. I'd rather see it all boil with a stainless steel pan sitting on a bright blue flame. So call me outdated, call me antiquated, call me as you're driving by. It's the digital age, but I'm still an analog guy. Here's that dance part again. There's a kazoo part if you guys want to just like hum. Just pretend you have a kazoo when the kazoo part comes along. I drive a 62 Plymouth, rusted and brown. 8-track tape deck, there's no better sound. Duct tape and baling wire hold it all together. I guess I'll be driving that damn thing forever.
called up my banker, checking on my checking account. And this automated message said, listen to the menu or dial your extension now. Well, my rotary phone wouldn't make the connection. I think we're headed in the wrong direction. It's time to take a look from a different point of view. It's the digital age, but I've got the analog blues. Old lady, yeah, old lady, oh, old lady, old lady. Thank you, thank you. I think I'm going to play you one more song and let Mr. Bob get up here. How's that sound? I'm looking forward to hearing Bob. So this song is a song without words. Music to me takes us, you know, the cool thing about music, it just allows us to go someplace. You know, we've all got songs that the instant you hear it, you can remember exactly where you were or how old you were or who you were in love with or who you weren't in love with or, you know, what car you were driving. That's the cool thing about music. It's so powerful. This song I'm about to play you is just, I like to end shows with it and just tell people that just let it take you someplace. Let it just take you wherever it will. That's what music does. So it's just a universal language. So I want to thank you all for being here and for supporting In the Music Room. And thanks, Larry, for working the board over there. So. Thank you so much.